Nina, I think you and I probably met in 2009, and you were really just a kid, just so young.
I was 20. Yeah, I was a little wee baby fetus.
And that was when Vampire Diaries really, had just taken off. And I'm so curious, like I knew you then and you always seemed so like so together and you handled everything really well and were always so gracious and so nice. But then looking back on that, it must have been such a crazy time for you. And I'm just curious what those years were like when, suddenly no one knew you and then thousands of people were screaming your name at Comic-Con.
I mean, it was pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie. I'm from Canada, and I think I did have a little bit of a transition. I was lucky in that way because I was on a TV show in Canada from when I was 15 until 19, and then it had some success, but not the level of success that Vampire Diaries did. So I sort of gradually sort built up to that, I guess. But it was still, I mean, nothing can prepare you for the thousands of people at Comic Con that are so passionate and excited. It was just, it was a really cool experience, um, and being on that show taught me so much. And it was, as I was learning about myself, I was growing up sort of in the public eye, but also in Atlanta, which is really cool because once we at Comic Con, people were screaming our names, but once we got back to Atlanta, where we lived and shot the show, nobody cared. So it was great to be able to live a somewhat normal-ish life when we weren't working.
And how do you feel about Vampire Diaries reunion? Because I know you and Paul Wesley are still good friends, and he said something yesterday like, "There's no way I would ever go back," but I think that there must be a reboot at some point.
Oh my goodness, I think it's way too soon to be talking about a reboot because the show didn't even end that long ago. But I mean, I know that I am very close with Paul and Kayla and Candace and Kat, and the list goes on because it was such a big part of our lives for so many years. It's hard to not stay in touch with everybody and see them when we can.
Paul also said he would never do anything vampire related with vampires in it. Are your feelings that strong?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it always depends on the role and the director. I don't want to say never because if Steven Spielberg is directing or if Martin Scorsese has a vampire flick coming up and there's a great role that will challenge me in some way, maybe. But so I guess, yeah, Steven, call me. Martin, let me know.